Workdays per month. Let's calculate without using our fingers and toes, using network days and end of month. Straightforward. Two different examples with holidays, without holidays. Great tools. Let me show you what's going on. Brad Williams, Excel Prime. Let's say we want to figure out the workdays per month. The workdays per month, it can take into account holidays. We also need to take into account without holidays. What's different with this example is that we're working within a timeline. And the timeline is monthly. And we know that month dates they vary. For example, we have 30 days, we can have 28 days, we can have 29 days, we can have 31 days. Workday function in the previous example can't figure out the number of days in each month. Whereas this network days function takes that into account. We have to use a little creativity here in order to create a monthly structure. And the function EO month means end of month. And that will determine the end of the month. Here's just a quick review of the end of month. If we type in and just take a review of the end of the month, what does it do? It returns the serial number of the last day of the month before or after a specified number of months. Network days returns the number of whole work days between two dates. Here we have January 1st, 2022, and we want to know the work days per month. If we go to this formula, you can see the various functions we have. We have a network days and an end of month days. And the network days says, well, let's look at C5. And what is C5? That's January 1st. What we're asking is, what's the end of the month for January? That's what the end of the month does. And then the holidays too will exclude whatever days are within the holiday range. Network days calculates work days. End of month figures out the end of the month. The holiday range excludes any holidays. It's that simple. Don't get carried away thinking it's anything more complicated than it is. If you want to know what the end of the month for C50 is, we can go and let's go equals EOMONTH, end of month, and then we'll just put start date. We'll put 0. We have to figure this out. We'll go short date. Right there, the end of the month for C50 is 1/31/22. And then network days is going to look and say, well, how many work days are within that timeline? That's all this function does. If we look at holidays, what we need to do is count the number of holidays in the month of January. And we can see there are 3. Now, how do we know that difference? Well, you want to look to see, well, what does it look like without holidays? There's another function here. We remove the holiday option, and it shows 21 days. So 21, 18 plus 3 holidays is 21. It's that simple. Don't be intimidated by these functions. Intuitively, familiarize yourself with what they do, and then just plug along. Now Networks is going to compute workdays. We know end of month will figure out the end of the month, and then holidays will exclude any holidays. Put the function together by going up to network days, hit this function, and go start date. All right, well, C5. End of the month, end date. You could type in this formula, or you can holidays, you can mess around with that. One other thing you want to check from time to time is to make sure holiday range here. Remember, I have it listed holiday 2 is equal G5 to G16. That would be G5 to G16. Actually, it should say J5 to J16. You don't have to put that in there, but the easier it is to recognize, notes don't hurt. It's easier to track your holiday 2 when you type this in, or somebody else is looking at this going, all right, I can see where holiday 2 is. Go over here into the name box and hit holiday 2 and make sure your holidays match up. Now I screwed up again. The holidays are actually I5. I-16. What about if we want work hours between dates? Interesting, huh? Why don't we go over here to get work hours? In the previous example, work days per month, we used the work days function. And here we want work hours. Let's say we have a start date and an end date. We want to know the work hours in January 1st and January 7th. The formula, network days. Notice the difference? We have network days from the previous example, but how do we convert that information? If you go back, we have work days. What does that tell us? Well, that's the number of days. Well, number of days, well, typically we work 8 hours a day, don't we? Here's a simple fix. All we're doing is taking the same network days and multiplying times 8. Again, don't overthink this stuff. Remove the times 8, and we have 5 days. We have 5 days, and we work 8 hours a day. We have 40 hours. We want to compare without holidays and with holidays. Well, wait a minute. January 1st and Fridays, January 1st, January 7th. If there's a holiday, January 1st, well, that's a holiday. We are not accounting for that because the workday is set up as Monday through Friday. And you're thinking, well, that's crazy. How about we do this? January 18th. Let's just change this to January 18th. Let's change this to January 18th. Why? We have 96 hours. And you're going, well, wait a minute. This holiday schedule says January 17th is a holiday. The numbers are the same. What's going on here? Is there an error? Structurally, no. The holidays are noted in this holiday 719, and it looks all right, but what's wrong? Well, I just gave it. Hopefully you guys are reading this range name error. Let's take a look to see what the range name is first and foremost. Well, it's holiday 719. Let's go up here to holiday 719 and type it, and guess what? That's the recognized holiday schedule. In other words, the holidays aren't being read. It's not uncommon. I'm illustrating this on purpose because I copied this information from another worksheet and I copied it in a different layout. This information started in B4 and I copied it over to C. So keep in mind that when you copy stuff over, sometimes it's wrong. Excel will red flag that on occasion. Sometimes it doesn't. And sometimes it'll say, you're trying to move this information. Do you want it copied over exactly as it is? If you say yes, well, this is the error. If you recall, I mentioned how to change name ranges by going up to formula to name manager. What are we looking for? We're looking for holiday 719. We hit holiday 719 and we hit edit. Range is recognized here, but you have to kind of scroll through and look at it. And you know, once you start screwing around with this stuff, it gets really hard to change. Be sure to check out all of our Excel courses. Excel data and text manipulation. We have an advanced beginners and intermediate course. Excel essentials. This is for individuals new to Excel. We have an advanced, excellent beginners, level 1 and level 2, and intermediate level course. Excel formulas, formulas only. We have a beginner, an advanced, and an intermediate level course. Click on any of the links. There's a short video that explains everything about the course. Check it out. This is one of those challenges here. And it says refers to, well, now it's so screwed up because we tried to make a change. I always recommend highlighting the cell or altogether deleting it. Just delete it. Are you sure want to delete it? Yes. And then we're going to just go back. We're going to highlight this range and we're going to go in here and you're going to see there's no longer holidays 719. Just type in holidays exact as it's spelled right here. Holidays _ 719. Hit enter. Be sure to hit enter. Look what it did. You could see before it was 96 hours. Now it's taking into account for 2 holidays from January 1st to January 18th. What are the two holidays? January 3rd and January 17th. Brad Williams, XL Prime, thanks for your time.